Hey, Viking fans, does Jaren Hall hold the keys to the Vikings' future? Let's talk about that next in 3, 2, 1. Gather around, Skull brothers and sisters. This is Skull World, brought to you by Minnesota Sports Talk. I'm your host, Dave. You can follow me on Twitter, TikTok, and Facebook at Skull World. Make sure you hit subscribe, leave a comment. I want to know what you think of Jaren Hall, what his future is with the Minnesota Vikings. Will he get the start? At the time of recording, Jaren Hall and Nick Mullins are splitting snaps right now, probably in practice. Kevin O'Connell hasn't made a decision. Heavy.com did an article yesterday. I'm going to go to it, and we're going to talk about what my thoughts are after I read the article. Let's do it. Vikings. Kevin O'Connell breaks silence on the QB change with Jaren Hall. Minnesota Vikings. Kevin O'Connell confirmed a report that the Vikings are evaluating the quarterback position after Nick Mullins threw 4 interceptions in the loss to the Detroit Lions on Christmas Eve. Now, hey, we put Nick Mullins in that situation. We ran the ball 11 times. To Nick Mullins' credit, there were times with holy crap, he gave no Fs and brought us back at the end of the half to start the first half. And then at the end of the game, I felt like we were going to go down and score. Nick Mullins, did he throw a mistake, or did he just, or did he? I feel like he made the right decision, just threw a bad ball. So a lot to be said about that. Nick Mullins does not have the strongest arm. Kirk Cousins does. Maybe he makes that play. We'll see. There was Brandon Powell was open up on the sideline. Maybe we make the better. Maybe Kirk Cousins throws that throw and not the one to Justin Jefferson. My guess, he throws it to Justin Jefferson that late in the game, and with Justin Jefferson having one-on-one coverage and being open. Now ask for clarity on which quarterbacks are in consideration to play on New Year's Eve in a must-win home game against the Green Bay Packers. O'Connell did not give any indication of which direction the Vikings would go, but he offered high praise for 5th-round rookie Jaren Hall. Jaren's got a little bit more work, and he's healthy now, having recovered from the concussion, and he really put together some solid weeks of preparation, knowing he's been one snap away, O'Connell said in December 26th news conference, adding that they are evaluating all 3 quarterbacks, Mullins, Hall, and Josh Dobbs this week. Apparently not. It's Hall and Mullins. All 3 of those guys are worthy of being involved in the discussion. We'll make the best decision moving forward that we think's in the best interest of us winning games. Or going through that right now. So last time it's reported they're splitting snaps. Last time Dobbs and Mullins split snaps. Dobbs got the start, who had been the starter. Mullins came in the 4th quarter against the Raiders and won the game. Is history repeating itself? Jaren Hall appears to be in favorite to replace Nick Mullins. Hall was the team's week 9 starter with Kirk Cousins went down with the season-ending Achilles injury, and Mullins was still an injured reserve with a back injury. And Jaren Hall looked good. First drive, we ran the ball twice, and then he scrambled for 8 yards. Second chance, he drove us all the way down to the 1, got the concussion. Had a nice throw to Alexander Madison on the sideline. Do not think that was the first read. So there's a lot of good to be had with Jaren Hall, and I think it's the consensus Vikings fans. It's almost 95% want Jaren Hall to start the end of the rest of the season. I'll talk about that more in my closing thoughts. He was 5 for 6, 73 yards against the Atlanta Falcons. What did I say? The Falcons. So was the Falcons game. Before getting knocked out of the game with a concussion, prompting the Vikings to play Dobbs just 5 days after trading for him. Since Dobbs lost the starting job in Week 14, Hall has prepared as the team's next option after Mullins. O'Connell's tip of the cap to Hall seems to indicate the Vikings have just a 19.2% chance of making the playoffs or considering a change at quarterback. But despite O'Connell's stated unwavering optimism in his entire quarterback room, the decision seems to be whether to leave no stone unturned this season and start Hall. I think the community will rejoice in that. No one's really attached to Mullins. I think he's I think he's a good number 2 quarterback in this league. And he showed a lot of offensive potential, but his lack of arm strength maybe makes him make poor decisions. He can't make that throw that Kirk Cousins can. Pro Football Talks, Mike Florio reported on Tuesday, December 26th, the Vikings consideration is for Hall. Per a source with knowledge of the situation, the Vikings are taking a long look at whether Mullins would be benched for rookie Jaren Hall. Florio wrote, this week's decision at quarterback will define a turbulent season in which the Vikings' depth, not its star power, has kept the team competitive. It's been a learning year for many young players, and the one player who hasn't got his fair shake is Hall. Very true. He should get his chance. We'll see here. It's been learning year for many young players. Okay, he very well could throw 4 interceptions against the Packers, but exploring Hall at a quarterback would send a message to the team that the Vikings turned over every stone to give them the best chance of winning. A 6-year veteran, Mullins is who he is and did not change his reckless ways in back-to-back starts. He's thrown 6 interceptions in 2 games, despite leading the offense to productive outings. Hall has the athletic edge over Mullins to escape the pocket and take that what's given with his feet. He could make or better game manager, which is all the Vikings need with a depleted pass-catching core. Will miss T.J. Hawkins and potentially Jordan Addison this week. So that being said, my thoughts on Jaren Hall. Jaren Hall can throw a deep ball. He's accurate. He's got great soft touch. Mullins has that too. Mullins, he has a stronger arm than Mullins, I think, by a little. Not as maybe as strong as Cousins. Maybe as strong as Cousins, but Nick Mullins he needs his whole body to throw the ball. I think Jaren Hall has the mobility that neither quarterback has. He can extend plays a little bit better. He's not as elite as Dobbs was at running the ball, and he's not as big as Dobbs was. He's 6 foot tall, but he can throw that outside. He can throw people open. He throws with anticipation. He's mobile. Those are his strengths. I think Jaren Hall, given my choice right now with the chances of making the playoffs, is let's have Jaren Hall and see what we can get, because I title this, is this the key to the Vikings? Well, hey, if Jaren Hall shows what he can do, could he be the heir apparent to Kirk Cousins? I'm not talking about next year. I think Kirk Cousins re-signs. I think Jaren Hall could be our backup quarterback in waiting in the wings. He'd be 26 in 2024. He'd be 27 in 2025. I think with being a veteran, having that experience under Kirk Cousins would do a lot for the Minnesota Vikings. And I know some may not want to hear it, but that may keep us, showing what Jaren Hall has, keep us from drafting a guy high or going up and trading up to get a guy. We could sit where we are, whether it's the 10th spot, the 15th spot currently, or later, and get a big-time defensive player that we need. Some guys in the trenches, that's where we're the weakest at. We need a cornerback. We need a lot of different guys to help this team. Giving up picks that could go towards really good players, this may be the key to us avoiding that if Jaren Hall is the real deal. Let's give him a try. Let's find that out. And if he is, he may have saved us from wasting picks on something that we already have in Jaren Hall. Let's find that out. Let's know that we do have it or don't have it with Jaren Hall before we make decisions in the offseason. That's my thoughts. Go with Jaren Hall. Hopefully we make that decision this year. The playoffs are a chance. Jaren Hall, play him, find out what we got. That's my final thoughts. Skull Vikings, cue the music.